Today, we're talking about a story that's pretty wild. It's about a massive, fundamental shift in what it means to be a family, a change that's happened all over the world entirely within a single human lifetime. You know, when we think about big changes, our minds usually jump to technology, right? But the shift we're about to see, well, you could argue it's way more profound. It's like a demographic earthquake, and it happens so fast it's almost hard to believe. So let's just dive into the numbers. Okay, before we get into the crazy data, let's make sure we're all on the same page with one key term, the fertility rate. It's pretty simple. It's just the average number of children a woman is expected to have. This single number is the engine that drives population, either up or down. I want you to come back in time with me for a second. Picture it. The year is 1950. The world is kind of rebuilding itself, and the entire global population is only about 2.5 billion people. And the way families looked, totally different. Back then, having a lot of kids wasn't the exception, it was just the rule. And this wasn't happening in just one or two places. Nope, this was the baseline for humanity pretty much everywhere, no matter the culture or the economy. Let's start with a country like Turkey. In 1950, the average woman there was expected to have 6.5 children. Just let that number sink in for a minute. 6.5. And Turkey was no outlier, not even close. Take a look at Brazil and South Korea. Both were sitting at a staggering 6.1. So you can already see the pattern here, right? Big families were just normal. I mean, the scale here is just incredible. You've got China at 5.8, India at 5.7. But look at the West, too. The US was at 3.1, Canada at 3.4. Now, to keep a population stable, you need what's called a replacement rate of about 2.1. Every single country on this list was just soaring past that number. All right, buckle up. We're about to hit the fast forward button and jump 73 years into the future. The world we're about to see is a completely different demographic universe. Let me say that again, because this is the whole story right here. Not one. Every single country we just looked at, from Turkey to the United States, has now dropped below that replacement level. The era of large families as the global norm, it's over. If you really want to grasp how huge this change is, just look at South Korea. It went from having one of the highest birth rates in 1950 at 6.1 to having the lowest on our list today at just 0.7. That's not a decline. That is a demographic collapse in a single lifetime. And when you look at the full 2023 list, you see how it all plays out. India is now just barely below that replacement rate at 2.0. Then you get this incredible cluster of totally different countries. The US, the UK, Brazil, Turkey, all at 1.6. And it just keeps dropping, with China at 1.0 and South Korea at that shocking 0.7. The world map has been completely redrawn. The tables are powerful, for sure, but seeing this change visually, man, it really drives the point home. Let's zoom in on a few of these. Okay, look at this comparison for China. That bar on the left, that's 1950, towering up there at 5.8 children. And the tiny bar on the right, that's today at just 1.0. For the most populous country on Earth, this isn't just a statistic. This is a world-changing event. Now, let's jump over to Brazil, a major economy in a completely different part of the world. And what do you see? It's the exact same story, a massive drop from 6.1 all the way down to 1.6. This just proves how universal this trend really is. And here's Turkey, which, remember, had the highest rate on our list back in 1950 at a whopping 6.5. Today, it's at 1.6, right there with the United States. The fall is just as steep and just as stunning. Seriously, just think about that for a second. Imagine a country going from an average of almost 6 kids per family down to just 1. That single fact basically tells the entire story of modern China. So, after seeing all these jaw-dropping numbers, what does it all mean? What we've just witnessed is a complete rewriting of our demographic destiny, something that's going to reshape everything for generations to come. So, what's the big takeaway here? Well, first, it's a global trend that cuts across all kinds of cultures and economies. The critical result is that every single one of these countries is now below the level needed to sustain its own population. And the fact that this all happened so fast, I mean, it's just staggering. This quote really just says it all, doesn't it? The world our grandparents were born into, that world of huge growing families, it's gone. And in its place is something brand new. And that leads us to the big final question. This data isn't just about the past. It's a crystal clear forecast for our future. A future with shrinking populations, with older societies, and all kinds of new challenges. A world with fewer people is on its way. The only question left is, are we ready for it?